ancient killer still lurks. Understanding modern plague outbreaks. A camping trip to South Lake Tahoe recently turned dangerous for one California resident who contracted plague after being bitten by an infected flea. This rare but serious reminder highlights an uncomfortable truth. The disease that devastated medieval Europe continues to persist in our modern world. The plague never left. Far from being a relic of history, plague remains active across the globe. The bacterial infection that once claimed up to 200 million lives and eliminated half of Europe's 14th-century population still circulates today. Every continent except Oceania and Antarctica harbors the disease, with particularly high concentrations in Madagascar, Peru, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The culprit behind these infections is Yersinia pestis, a bacterium that transforms rat fleas into deadly vectors. When plague bacteria multiply in a flea's digestive system, they create a blockage that forces the insect to regurgitate infected blood into its next victim's wound. Seasonal patterns in the American West. The western United States experiences predictable plague activity each year. From late spring through early fall, outbreaks emerge across New Mexico, Colorado, Arizona, California, Oregon, and Nevada. While wildlife bears the brunt of these infections, humans occasionally fall victim to the ancient pathogen. Despite its fearsome reputation, plague infections in humans remain exceptionally uncommon. The United States records approximately 7 cases annually, predominantly the bubonic form characterized by grotesquely swollen lymph nodes called buboes. This represents an extraordinarily rare infection, explains Dave Wagner, who directs Northern Arizona University's Biodefense and Disease Ecology Center. I remind people to practice basic street safety before losing sleep over plague. Beyond the notorious black rat. While black rats earned infamy as plague's historical carriers, they represent just one piece of a complex puzzle. Modern research reveals that rodents of all types serve as primary reservoirs for the disease, supported by their flea populations. The transmission cycle operates with brutal efficiency. Infected rodents pass the bacteria to their fleas, and when the host dies, these fleas seek new victims. Intriguingly, a 2018 investigation suggested that Europe's historical plague pandemics may have spread through human fleas and lice rather than rats alone. Rodents excel as plague hosts for reasons scientists are still investigating. Their burrowing lifestyle creates ideal conditions for flea populations, while their blood likely contains high bacterial concentrations, crucial since fleas can only consume tiny amounts of blood with each feeding. Regional variations and unexpected hosts. Plague's animal hosts vary dramatically by geography. Madagascar still sees black rats as primary carriers, while North American outbreaks typically involve prairie dogs, wood rats, and squirrels. The disease's reach extends far beyond rodents. However, researchers have documented infections in rabbits, deer, black-footed ferrets, mountain lions, coyotes, and even household pets. Some animals contract plague by consuming infected prey, while others simply encounter the wrong flea at the wrong time. Wagner illustrates this danger. Picture a dog discovering prairie dog burrows where plague has killed the inhabitants. The appealing smell will inevitably draw the dog to investigate and dig. Multiple forms, varying dangers. Plague manifests in 3 distinct forms. Bubonic plague, contracted through flea bites, remains most common and creates the characteristic swollen lymph nodes. Septicemic plague circulates through the bloodstream, while pneumonic plague attacks the lungs and represents the only form humans can transmit to each other. The ongoing mystery. Scientists continue debating whether various wild animals merely contract plague from rodents or actively maintain the disease in nature. Prairie dogs may simply receive disproportionate attention because plague's effects on their densely populated, highly visible colonies are particularly obvious. What remains clear is that this ancient scourge adapts and persists, reminding us that nature's deadliest pathogens rarely disappear completely. They simply wait for the right conditions to emerge once